Athens, 430 BC. The birthplace of democracy, the city of Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle. A place where ideas shaped the entire future of Western civilization. But here's what nobody tells you. If you were born here as a woman, you would have no name in the history books. No vote, no voice, no story. This is your story. Chapter 1. The day you are born. It is early morning. The city is just waking up. Outside, the markets are beginning to fill. Men are gathering in the agora, the great public square at the heart of Athens, already arguing about politics, philosophy, and the meaning of justice. Ah yes, men. Arguing? At sunrise? Some things never change. Inside a small stone house near the edge of the city, your mother is in labor. There are no doctors. Doctors are men, and men are not allowed in this room. So the one time men being absent would actually help, they made a rule about it. Instead, a midwife, one of the few women in Athens who moves freely through the city, is guiding your mother through one of the most dangerous moments of her life. Childbirth in ancient Athens killed women constantly. No antibiotics, no surgery. No pain relief beyond herbs and prayer. The ancient Athenian healthcare plan. Your mother has already lost 2 children before you. She knows what death smells like in this room. But you survive. You are born. And immediately, before you have even taken your first proper breath, your fate is being decided by someone who isn't even in the room. Your father. He is called in. He looks at you. And in that single moment, he holds your entire life in his hands. Because in ancient Athens, a father had the legal right, the absolute, unquestioned, socially accepted right, to practice something called exposure. He could take you outside the city walls and leave you there, on the ground, in the cold. Not because he was a monster, but because you were a girl. Girls were expensive. Girls required dowries, large payments of money, land, and goods that a family would have to hand over when she married. Girls could not carry the family name, could not fight in wars, could not vote, work, or represent the family in public. Girls were, in the brutal economic logic of ancient Athens, a liability. Congratulations! You were born into the most celebrated civilization in human history. You are already a financial problem. Many fathers left their daughters on hillsides outside the city. Some were found by slaves and raised in servitude. Some were taken in by brothels. Most simply did not survive. But your father keeps you. Maybe he already has sons. Maybe he is kinder than most. Maybe your mother begged. Either way, you made it. Not because the system worked, but despite it. Women's names in Athens were rarely recorded publicly. The city that invented the written word couldn't find space to write yours down. You are named after your mother, perhaps, or given a simple name meaning gift or grace. You are wrapped in cloth and placed in your mother's arms, and your life, invisible, unrecorded, and yet entirely real, begins. Your childhood. You grow up inside, mostly inside. While boys your age are sent to school, learning to read, to debate, to fight, to think, your education happens in the back rooms of your home. Your mother teaches you how to spin wool, how to weave, how to manage a household, how to be useful. Not useful like Socrates, useful like a very efficient piece of furniture. It is not that your mother doesn't love you, she does. This is just the world. Outside these walls, philosophers are debating the nature of the universe. Playwrights are writing stories that will last thousands of years. Athletes are training for the Olympics. The ancient Athenians had a word for the part of the house where women lived. The gynekonitis. The women's quarters, tucked away from the front of the house, away from male visitors, away from public life. Sometimes on a separate floor entirely, accessible only through a locked door. Your world is about 4 walls and you are expected to be grateful for them. 4 walls. No windows. No education. No future. But hey, at least the linen was perfectly folded. You do go outside sometimes. Religious festivals, funerals, weddings, but always accompanied, always watched, never alone, never free. The one major exception was the Thesmophoria, a women-only religious festival held every year in honor of Demeter. No men allowed. Women organized it, funded it, ran it completely independently. For 3 days every year, the women of Athens ran something entirely by themselves. 3 days out of 365. Progress. Chapter 3. Your marriage. You are 14 years old, and today you are getting married. You have never met him. Romantic, isn't it? Your father arranged it. The man is likely in his 30s, maybe older, a citizen, a craftsman, or a merchant, or a soldier. Your father negotiated a dowry, money, land, goods, handed over to seal the deal. You were not asked, not once. In Athens, a woman needed a curious, a legal male guardian, her entire life. First your father, then your husband. You could not own property, you could not sign a contract, you could not appear in court. You were, legally speaking, somewhere between a child and a piece of furniture. An expensive piece of furniture that someone else owned. The wedding itself is actually beautiful. Ritual baths, special clothes, offerings to the gods, torchlit processions through the city at night. Your friends and female relatives surround you, singing hymns. But as that cart carries you from your father's house to your husband's, you leave behind every person you have ever known. Your mother, your sisters, the house you grew up in, the four walls that were your entire world. You are moving into a stranger's home. Don't worry though, he has four walls too. He is now your curious, your legal guardian. The word means lord or master. You cannot own property in your own name, you cannot sign a legal contract, you cannot represent yourself in court. You cannot make any significant decision about your own life without male approval. You manage the home, raise the children, weave, cook, and wait. Your husband comes and goes as he pleases. He attends the symposia, the famous Athenian dinner parties where great men recline on couches and debate philosophy, poetry, and the nature of the soul. These dinner parties shaped Western civilization. You are not invited, you are never invited, but you did make the food. But here is where the story turns. Chapter 4. The woman who broke every rule. Because Athens, for all its rigid rules, had a crack in the wall. And her name was Aspasia. Aspasia was not Athenian by birth. She came from Miletus, a Greek city on the coast of modern Turkey. Because she was a foreigner, she existed outside the rules that governed Athenian women. She became a hetera, often translated as courtesan, but that doesn't fully capture what it meant. A hetera was an educated, independent female companion to wealthy and powerful men, valued primarily for her mind, her conversation, her wit. In other words, she was everything Athens told its women they were not allowed to be. And she was brilliant at it. She opened a school in Athens. Men attended. She taught rhetoric, the art of persuasive speaking, which was essentially the most important skill in Athenian political life. Socrates came to her school. Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, he reportedly told his students that Aspasia had taught him everything he knew about rhetoric. The greatest mind in ancient history, learned from a woman. He just didn't put her name on the cover. Pericles, the most powerful politician in Athens, the man who commissioned the Parthenon, who ran the city for 30 years, fell completely in love with her. He divorced his Athenian wife. He brought Aspasia into his home. Ancient writers described him kissing her every morning when he left, and every evening when he returned. She sat beside him when he received foreign diplomats. She whispered advice during political crises. She may have helped write his most famous speeches. She was arguably the most politically powerful woman in Athenian history. And she got there by doing the one thing respectable Athenian women were never allowed to do, refusing to be invisible. But Aspasia's freedom came at a cost. She was mocked constantly, attacked by playwrights and politicians who resented her influence, put on trial for impiety, a charge that carried the death penalty. Pericles defended her personally in court. He wept in front of the jury, something he had never done for any political cause, and she was acquitted. The most powerful man in Athens cried in public to save the woman who was smarter than everyone in the room, including him. Chapter 5. Your legacy. You grow old in that house, your children grow up, your sons become citizens, they enter the world you were always locked out of. Your daughters go through exactly what you went through. Married off at 14, moved into a stranger's home, invisible. The cycle continues, perfectly maintained. Nobody questioned it. Your husband dies before you, and now you depend on your son. He becomes your curious. Your own child is legally responsible for you. Your own child has more legal authority over your life than you do. If he is kind, you survive comfortably. If he is impatient, you simply endure. Either way, you are never free. Not even at the end. When you die, there may be a small grave marker. Your name carved in stone? Maybe your father's name beside it, identifying you as his daughter. Maybe your husband's name, identifying you as his wife. Your own identity, even in death, defined by the men around you. And so, here we are, the end of the road. We made it. Well, you made it. She definitely did not get a say in whether she made it anywhere. Athens gave the world democracy, but democracy in 430 BC was a members-only club. Male, Athenian-born, free, property-owning. That excluded women. It excluded slaves, who made up roughly a third of the entire population. It excluded foreigners. It excluded the poor. The city that invented the idea that every voice deserves to be heard, heard almost nobody. And yet, despite being excluded from every official structure of power, women held Athens together. They raised the philosophers. They fed the armies. They built the homes where the greatest ideas in human history were born. They just never got credit for any of it. Next time someone talks about the golden age of Athens, and it was golden, genuinely extraordinary, just remember that the gold was built on the backs of people history decided weren't worth remembering. They were wrong. We remember now, the greatest civilization in human history, built by people it refused to acknowledge. Sounds about right. If this made you think, made you angry, or made you grateful you were not born in 430 BC Athens, especially if you are a woman, then this video did exactly what it was supposed to do. Drop a comment below telling me which part shocked you the most. If you made it this far, you clearly have excellent taste. So hit that subscribe button because trust me, the next story is even wilder than this one. See you in the next one.